Hi, Susan.
Hey,
Welcome.
it's been forever.
I know. What's going on?
Oh, I've been saving democracy
Oh, good. I hear
and
you're involved with
healthcare.
Indivisible.
Sorry?
I hear you're doing stuff with Indivisible in your local chapter.
Yeah, a couple of them actually, because I spend half the year in different places. And
Oh, that's awesome. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. So I'm lucky enough to get to be with two groups.
Where was it? North Carolina? Where are you again?
No, I'm in the spring and summer, I'm in the Seattle area, and in the fall and winter, I'm in Southern California.
Okay, awesome. That's
Yeah,
wonderful. That's
yeah, yeah.
great.
So where are you these days?
I'm in Chicago. So,
Oh, okay.
I'm outside in a suburb called Northbrook and
Yeah.
Um, and I run events like this, and I work part-time in a library and teaching technology to people, and I
Yeah.
love that. But I really love this stuff. So, welcome everyone. I know Nina is driving, so she's not going to turn on her camera. Naomi, do you want to introduce yourself to Susan and Susan to Naomi?
Okay, sure. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Naomi.
Sure. Hi, I'm Naomi Campbell. I'm the Empowerment Program Director at the Right Question Institute, which is a nonprofit. We're based in the Boston area, but we work nationally and occasionally internationally. And we work in a lot of different fields, teaching a strategy that helps people learn to ask better questions. And
Mm.
a lot of our work has this underlying democratic meaning, whether it's doing democratic education and trying to get students to engage in the classroom and ask questions, or by helping people navigate different systems and advocate for themselves using this strategy. So yeah, I'm
We're
excited to be
excited
here.
to
I,
hear.
I just want to let everybody know I've got movers here and there's like
Okay.
things happening
Okay,
around
well, if you have to turn off your camera or
people.
whatever, that's totally fine.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
yeah.
And the reason Naomi is here too is because an alum from my college, I posted in our alumni group that I was doing this. I'm the president of our alumni board, and we have a pretty active Facebook group and at Beloit College. And so I posted about this, and she responded. And I've used the protocol from the Right Question Institute with students that I was prepping to do a virtual exchange with an author. And I loved the protocol. And I just redid a curriculum for a group in Connecticut on that does an art exchange program with schools. And I'm like, you need to look at this stuff here from the Right Question Institute. And they were excited to hear about you guys. Um, are you guys, is there a Harvard affiliation with you guys at all?
Yeah, we run a course through the Harvard Graduate School of Education. It's a continuing education credit course for teachers, and then we have taught a class there, and our co-founders published a book with the Harvard Education Press. So there's kind of various ways that we're
I
connected.
figured there was some sort of relationship if you guys
Yeah,
were in
and
Cambridge and they're in Cambridge.
exactly, and we know Howard Gardner and
Oh,
a
good. Oh, good.
supporter. So yeah, this
Well,
I
that's
think that's
awesome.
also how we found out about the conference. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. His son is a friend of mine, and so that's how I grabbed them. And Andrew's actually going to jump in here soon, so I'm gonna he booked an appointment when I'm doing the training, so he may jump in the middle of it. Um, and I had Andrew and his dad talked at a global conference I did like 10 years ago, and it was awesome. And I don't think they often do things together publicly, so it's kind of a special treat. And um I don't know. I just think his work in general around the Good Project, which is one of his projects, applies to what we're trying to do here with the conference. In general, with the conference, we're trying to see how do we activate more people to be participatory in a democracy, whether it's here or abroad. Obviously, we're not the first group to ever deal with threats to democracy. It's not intended to be a negative anti-administration kind of event because I think that's kind of like we want to move beyond that. Like, right? Like how do we get ourselves out of this? Because it's going to be people that save us, not anyone else. It's going to be us rising up. And then how do we repair? How do we repair this and strengthen this? And especially with youth, like how are we going to prepare another generation that's not ignorant and understands how a democracy works and the importance of civic participation. So I've run a bunch of events that are virtual on global education and for teachers and that sort of thing, but this really is supposed to be cross sector. Our partner in it is the Charter for Compassion, which is a nonprofit that was started by a woman's TED Prize about, I don't know, almost 20 years ago. Karen Armstrong is a theologian in the UK, and she used the funding to start this nonprofit, which basically says compassion is the commonality between all faiths. And for the charter before, I've done a cross-sector conference where we have healthcare people and government workers and educators and all sorts of different groups presenting their work that has to do with compassion so that all the sectors can learn from each other because I think it's important to get out of your silo and see what other people are doing. So that's kind of structurally how we're trying to do this. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I think there's mostly a lot of education people involved, but we're happy with anybody who drops into it. And our hope is to do another one of these like in August, gearing up towards the midterms. Because there are a lot of people also who can't travel or who physically can't go to a protest indivisible kinds of things, Susan, maybe in person. So like how do we give people the tools, the information so they can do something? Like I want people to come away from this thinking there's one thing I can do, whether it's like using the 5 calls stuff app to call your congressman, or it's to use this protocol in your classroom. Like one thing that you can take that will bolster, democracy in general. So that's where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and do like the really
Hi,
quick.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Uh, Susan, what can I hear a little bit about your
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Susan. Yes, go ahead. And
That's okay.
I'll
That's
get my
okay.
stuff.
Yeah. So, my background professionally, Naomi, was I started off as a classroom teacher, then I was a mentor teacher, staff development provider. I was a site level administrator. And then because my husband wanted to go live on a farm on an island in the middle of absolutely nowhere with one school on the island, and the principal did not want to step aside so I could have a job. So I started my own consulting business. And I did that well, I'm still kind of doing it. I started in 2000 doing that. And so much of what you talked about are things I'm already have been tapping into and interested in. I was using Gardner's multiple intelligences with middle school kids who were in opportunity program, which meant your last opportunity to get your act together before you get kicked out of seventh grade. And so I was working with them, trying to give them more autonomy and make more thoughtful decisions about their learning styles and how that might translate into what they did in classrooms. And I also, as a kindergarten teacher, learned very early on that the way I framed questions for the kids had a direct and serious impact on how they processed that information. And so they could answer questions if I asked them the right way. But if I didn't ask them the right way, they could not answer because they couldn't make that connection between a fact or a piece of information here and then apply it elsewhere. So I've been really interested in that kind of work and have dabbled with that and many other things, both through my teaching career, my administrative career, and then working with adults, educators primarily in educational technology. And I wrote what was the textbook at one point in time for the administrator standards when they first came out from ISTE. I've written a ton of other stuff. I have been involved with ISTE, with CUE, with NCCE, traveled internationally working with folks. Um, and I've pulled back a lot recently. The last project I worked on was the AI project with Nancy Blair Black in for ISTE, and also then an early childhood education program also through ISTE, also with Nancy and with Gail Lovely. And I pulled back and I've gotten really interested in healthcare. In Washington State, where I live half the year, we have more than 50% of the hospital beds in our state are owned or managed by religious providers, which is problematic for a number of reasons. But I've gotten really involved in advocacy for that and then in Indivisible. And one of the things we do in Indivisible, Lucy, is we have a closed Facebook group, for lack of a better platform at this
Yeah.
point. I post an action people can take every day.
Yep. I get the
And
ones I get one from Evanston in here in
mhm,
Chicago, and they do like five. That's an email every day. It's really
mhm.
nice.
Yeah. And sometimes we do more than one, but that idea that people really do need help and direction in recognizing what they can do when they can't get to protests or they can't do other things. So,
And it doesn't have to be like a big, huge thing too. Like the simple acts of, like here it'll be some of the actions that they do here would be like getting, at 7 o'clock on Monday morning during the commute to Chicago, in this from the suburbs to the
mhm,
Chicago, you meet at an overpass with signs.
mhm,
Or, like I think they're like, and there's some online stuff too. And it's nice because it provides entry points and choice for people,
right.
depending on on their comfort level, which I think is so important. And you also, the other thing I've realized, because I'm working part-time in a library with a lot of senior citizens right now
Mhm,
who are not tech savvy,
right.
and they want to do something, but they can't necessarily go downtown Chicago for like the huge rallies, um
Mhm,
or they're happy to connect online doing something if they know how to Zoom.
yeah.
And so, how do and then there are other people who are not reading or who are not using social media at all,
Mhm,
who maybe like the single story is their local newspaper. And they really have like like I talked to one guy, one of my neighbors who had no idea that like ICE was grabbing everyone. Like he just thought they were going after the bad guys. And this is like right when it started in Chicago.
mhm,
And so it's so interesting people, and then you have young people too. This is the other thing I'm
mhm,
noticing, who are not watching TV at all. They're not watching Rachel Maddow like I am every Monday.
mhm.
They're looking at um different kinds of media online, but they're not necessarily going to the traditional channels. So you have people who are very traditional in their consumption of things, and then you have people who are, are streaming everything and looking at Instagram or whatever. So it's so
TikTok.
interesting to me, like how do we reach people where they're
Mhm.
at? It
Yep.
takes like a multi-pronged, multi-generational approach.
Yep.
And I also think because of the pandemic that I don't think things like what we're trying to do here are going away.
Mhm.
As much as people would like to be together in person, yes, that's always the preferred method, right?
Yeah.
But I think these things can be impactful and meaningful and inspirational to people online as well if we do it right.
I agree. Actually, we should probably talk afterwards. I would be happy at some point to talk with you about some of the other things that we're
Yeah.
doing, and I'd love to hear more about what you're
Yeah.
doing.
There's
Um,
another person too that's involved with the conference who's on the conference committee named Wes Fryer. He's another
oh,
ed
I know
tech person.
Wes.
And
I've known Wes forever. Yeah.
yes, and he's doing stuff with Indivisible in Charlotte, North Carolina, helping them stream
Yes.
and stuff like that. So
Yes.
he's another person that you should know too.
Yeah.
We've got Chuck who's here too, and we've got Nina who's driving. Hopefully you guys will get to get to know each other a little bit during the conference. Yeah, Nina, do you want to share and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can do that quickly.
Okay. Okay.
So I am probably unlike most of you because I don't perceive myself so much as an activist as a change agent. And I was really happy to hear you say, if there's one thing people can take away from the conference that they can do, that's me, because my feeling is, I'm an
Yeah.
author coach, a certified high performance coach, and I'm the author of a new book called Change the World One Book at a Time. And I really believe that that is something people can do. And if we're talking about next generations and all of those things and teaching, books are where the action is. We can really make a big impact by writing books that detail why change is needed and how to go about it. So that's me.
Oh, great. Then this is the place for you too, because I'm going to show you. Partner in this is a group that I work part-time with, and it's the Charter for Compassion. And that's how, and let me bring up their website here. Hang on. I've got like 5 million things going here. That's not what I wanted to do. This is our Substack. Hang on. I'm really not doing well with my browser here. Speaking of not using technology well. So the Charter for Compassion, is a nonprofit that was started by this woman that won a TED Prize a number of years ago, and they work across sectors on social justice kinds of things. And they have a global read, Naomi, that I'm thinking about that might be of interest to you. So there will be people at the conference that are part of the charter, and you can read more about their stuff at the website, but they do a monthly global read with an author on a topic. And they plan these way in advance because they have a lot of people that want to share their books. But it may be of interest to you. I'm trying to think. They have a lot of stuff going on, so their website is pretty. You have to kind of dig around and find it. Usually, like their events, their upcoming events are here, right on the front. So anyway, take a look at their website, and Marilyn Turkovich, who's the executive director of the charter, will be at the conference, and along with some other people, and you can talk to her about getting more involved. But I think this might be up people's alley too, in terms of the kind of they're kind of a network of networks. So they're working across education, government, healthcare, the arts, to bring people together for conversations and events around this. And they have some pretty strong partnerships with interesting organizations, including C Learning, which is a social emotional learning program at Emory University that the Dalai Lama has been involved with. They've partnered with the Nobel laureate Peace Winners Association. We've gone to a conference featuring those laureates in Mexico last year. So there are a number of ways that you guys can get involved with other organizations. So one of the goals is have everybody do that one thing, but two, also to form partnerships between the organizations and the people that are here, so that there may be more opportunities for collaboration. So that's my long-winded answer to or response to you, Naomi, and hopefully you'll come away with one person or one organization too that you might want to follow up with or get more involved with, and further your work. So that's part of the goal here too. What I want to start out today with is like getting my browser organized. So and I've done this session several times, and it's going to be, let me stop recording or stop sharing for a second. And it's going to be versions of this have been recorded and will be up on our resource page for you guys. So I don't know why Chrome has gone away from here altogether. Sorry. I had this open and ready to go, and now I don't. And I don't seem to be able to talk and navigate at the same time. Okay. This is really weird. Like my Chrome browser just completely disappeared. I don't think I deleted it. That's really weird. Very strange. And I'm a tech person, so I should know better. Anyway, I'll just keep going with Safari. So on the conference is starting on Wednesday, kicking off with Howard Gardner. Some people are presenting on stages like Howard and his son. Some people are presenting in general session rooms. So that's kind of the basic strategy in RingCentral, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Is the platform, and it used to be called Hopin, by the way, and then RingCentral bought Hopin, and now it's RingCentral Events. So I have a license for this that lets me do various events. Most of them have been for education, This one is hopefully being a little bit more cross sector. So this is where people come in to register, and this is where people will come in um, to enter the event. So if people are registered when the event goes live, there's a little blue tab on our front page that says enter here. You guys can come in through that way as presenters, but right now, if you're in a session room, which I think most of you are, you can come in and actually practice in the session room that I've built for you. And I sent the link to this last night. And it's not for public consumption. So let me pull that up right now. And so you're able to get into the back end. And this is
Are we supposed to be seeing something, Lucy?
oh, am I not showing my desktop? God, I'm
No,
really
ma'am.
spastic. Sorry. Yes, you are supposed to be seeing something, and I'm being a spaz. Totally. All right. So this is the conference website that I was mentioning earlier. Um, this is, um, and this is the spreadsheet that was sent to you, and I can share that link with you right now in the chat. So this spreadsheet has the backdoor links to get into the platform so that you can practice in your room. And it's not hard, but you do want to do this you before the conference. You don't want to wait till the day of, or else you will have issues. And so it tells you on the first tab of this workbook, here's the, kind of basic instructions. And then under session tab, this is the actual list of all of your sessions. And it's very small right now because I guess I need to make it bigger, but your name is in here with the link to your room. So for example, here is Chuck's room, and next to his name is a link, and you're going to click on that, and then that's going to give you the link to go into your room. And this is really acting strangely. I don't know what is going on here. And this will take you into Ring Central Events, into your room. And you'll be able to go in there and practice when the general public is not allowed in there yet. This weekend, I'm going to open it up for people to come in and start browsing the schedule and that sort of thing. But you guys can get in there in advance. I'm going to go in through my portal. And show you what the rooms look like. And so I'm using Safari right now. This is not a good idea. It will work for the most part, but really you want to be using Chrome. So don't do as I say. So this is what it looks like when you come into the conference platform. And think of this as kind of a triptych. There's three parts. One is the buttons on the left-hand side. Then there's content in the middle. And then on the right-hand side, there's an event chat and all sorts of other things that I'll go into. So the five big parts are, this is the reception page, which is where the description of the event is. There'll be some help documentation here. The schedule is here. Sponsors, which are media partners really. And then speakers are listed here as well. There's also a pop-up schedule that can pop out like this, and it's searchable by tag and by keyword, and you can filter things. You can explore that on your own, but that pop-up is really nice to have if you have multiple windows open. So this is the home base, is the reception page. Stages is where our keynotes will be. Sessions are where the general sessions will be, and they'll be showing, I think, an hour before they actually open. So in the schedule. So people will click on a link and they'll be taken into a session room. You can come in this way, or you can come in using the link on the spreadsheet that I've shared with you. And what's tricky about this, it's not hard if you've presented virtually before. I think you'll probably get it. But if you've never done this before, you have to enable your video and your audio, which means in your browser settings, you have to go into the privacy settings and make sure that your camera is accessible and your video is accessible. Because I'm in Safari, I can't demonstrate for you right now exactly what that looks like, but it's usually in Chrome. You can go up here to your search bar, and there's like a little icon that you click on. It looks kind of like sliders, and you can change your settings there. Or you can go to the upper right-hand corner of your browser, and there's three dots where you can go to your settings and enable your camera and your video. That's the number one problem with attendees and presenters who have not done this in advance. And it's not a flaw of the system. It's just something that you have, it's permissions that you have to enable on your browser. So you can use Microsoft Edge, you can use Firefox. Chrome is recommended. Safari is not recommended like I'm doing right now. So that's the bottom line with it. So as a presenter, you've been added as a moderator. That means you have certain privileges to your session room, and they're not available to everyone, just the people that are designated. So if you have a co-presenter, make sure that I know about it so that I can add them as a uh, a moderator here too. Or if you have somebody helping you out in the background or whatever, that you may want me to add them to this as well. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on join the stage, and you want to, it's asking me here in Safari to allow that. It gives you a preview. You can choose a background. You can upload your own background if you don't like the backgrounds that they have, which are actually pretty limited if you ask me. You can also blur your background if you prefer that. Your camera settings are here. If you use, like I use an external webcam, and so I can choose that or the one that's built in on my computer. And then there's some other settings here, like from removing background noise and that sort of thing that you can play with if you want to. There is something called a pre-event check here. And when you click on this, it's going to check your bandwidth, it's going to check your connectivity and all that sort of thing, and tell you whether you're good to go or not. You don't have to do this every time you come in, probably just the first time, so that you know that your machine is ready to go. But this is also a good place to troubleshoot if you're having issues. Running that pre-event check will help. Okay. So when I'm and I've run the pre-event check and everything looks good, I click on apply selection.
Went mute.
Yeah, Lucy, for some reason we can't hear you. I wonder if it's because you've got audio. Yeah.
No.
Now we can hear you.
Okay. So I think it's because I'm using Safari and I don't know what happened to Chrome on my browser. This is just the strangest thing. It was open 5 minutes ago and now it's gone. So I think because this is why you don't use Safari with it. So when you get into your room, there are going to be some tools that you'll see, and you will have access to those tools if you are the moderator in that room. Okay. And I've assigned everybody to be that moderator. So let me ugh, I'm so annoyed that this is not working the way I thought it would. I've done this 5 million times, and so da-da-da-da-da-da. Let me try one more time to see what happened to Chrome and see if it works or not. So you have to enable those permissions. You have tools. If you're in a moderated room, you do have you have the ability to do breakout rooms, very much like Zoom. I don't think you'll have necessarily a crowd of people where you want to do that, but you can if you want to. Um, and you'll have tools like audience engagement tools like confetti and emojis, and you can turn that stuff off if you don't want to use it. So keep that in mind. And then you also can change the layout of your slides and that sort of thing. What I wanted to show you specifically was the how you share your screen, because it's really disconcerting for some people. If you've used Google Meet and you've done screen sharing in Google Meet, it's very similar to that. And this is just the strangest thing. I cannot find Chrome. It is not, it just went away on my computer. I don't know how I deleted it. There's just no way. Huh.
I,
All right.
I wonder if it was because you were sharing audio in two different platforms, because you were sharing audio
Yeah. It works. It does. I think that that's why it didn't wasn't showing it in Safari, but in Chrome it works. I can do Zoom and I can do the Ring Central events at the same time, and the audio is shared, and it's not a problem. So I think it's because I'm in a goofy browser. That's the problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again. If the audio cuts out again, let me know and we'll see if we can get it going. And if not, I'll cut this short and you guys can watch the recording. But I want to show you at least how to share your screen. Okay. So I'm not going to join the stage right now. These are your tools. You guys can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These are the tools that I was talking about that you have access to if you're in a moderated room. If you're in an open room, you won't have all these tools. That's why I ask people to choose, and I recommend the moderated one. If you do want people to turn on their microphones and cameras and come on stage with you, like a Zoom meeting, they can request it. There's a button on their screen, and then you can approve them here. And if you don't like some of these audience engagement tools, like there's ability for people to click on the screen and have confetti show up, you can turn that off if you want to. And then there are different screen layouts, and this is helpful if you have multiple presenters. Otherwise, I would just keep it at the default one. The tricky thing is sharing your screen if you have slides or you want to share a website. Have all of your resources open in tabs so that you can get to them quickly. That's my first recommendation. And you can share your screen or you can share a YouTube video. And you just paste the YouTube link in when you click on this button here. But to share your screen, you're going to, and hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully this will work. I'm going to share the entire screen. See, it does this if you share the entire screen. In Chrome, I'm going to stop sharing. I really, really dislike this. And until you switch into your desktop, it will look like this. What I recommend is in Chrome, you can share your tab. And so that's my recommendation, is to share your tab instead of the whole screen, or else you'll get that weird multiple window look. It opens up in a separate tab, which I can't show you right now because I'm not in Chrome. And you can toggle back and forth between this room and your actual presentation. And what it does in Chrome is it puts a link up here that lets you do that toggling back and forth seamlessly. And it takes a little while to practice that and to get the hang of it. If you've used Google Meet and shared anything in Google Meet, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you are used to Zoom and just sharing what's in front of you, it's disconcerting because it opens up in a separate tab and you manipulate it from a separate tab, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So just be aware of that. And I would recommend watching one of the better recordings than this one that shows you how to do that specifically. And there are directions in the toolkit and that sort of thing for you as well. So the last thing, this is the most important thing, is your camera and your mic and knowing how to screen share. If you've got those things down, you'll be fine. So if you're wondering, like, where do I find all this stuff? Where is everything? It is, believe it or not, contrary to how this training is going, there is one place. So I use Linktree to put together all of the links. And it is Thrive. This is it. It is Linktree/Thrive Democracy Summit. I'll put the link in the chat. I would recommend bookmarking this, and it has everything that you could possibly need in it, including, I'll show you here. So here's where people register. We just made an attendee guide that you can share with people. And then this stuff on the top is more for attendees, and more of the presenter stuff is down here. So this dashboard here has a speaker toolkit. And this has all the directions for things. And this is where the recordings of the sessions are that I've done so far. So just be aware of that. The other thing I wanted to mention too, so everything that you need should be here, and you shouldn't have to go to 5 million different links. I've made a couple of tools for people, and um, if I haven't added your organization, or you have a resource you want to share, let me know and I'll put it in here. One is I'm using Google Notebook for this. This is um, a tool from Google that lets you curate certain information and create content from it. So this one is all about the conference, and you can ask questions about the conference in terms of logistics and stuff in this particular notebook. If you've not played with Google Notebook, it's amazing. It's an AI tool. There's also one, and maybe I have the wrong link. There's also another one that's all resistance related content. That's like 300 resources that I've curated. And then the other thing, which I have not linked yet, is I'm using Notion to create a database of organizations that, and I don't think I have it open. Maybe I do have it open, of organizations and resources. And I will continue to add to this during the conference, which looks like, I'll show you what it looks like. And I'll make sure it's linked in there. It's not linked in right now. I don't need that. Here it is. I'm really excited about this. So this is a list of resources for people that attendees will get a link to, and you can submit a resource if something is not in here. You can email me one and I'll add it. But if you click on one of these things, it will pop up here and will give you a description. It will give you the link to the website, blah, 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 blah. And you can see things in different searchable views. This is essentially a database tool, Notion, if you're not familiar with it. And so things are organized by type, by region, by issue. And so this is kind of like one-stop shopping for everything related to democracy. It is searchable. So there's a little search icon on the right-hand side, and you can search for, certain keywords, and hopefully it will come up. But this is meant to be kind of a directory, and I want to make sure that all the organizations that are represented are in here. Like I'm sure Indivisible is already in here. I'm not sure if I put the Right Question Institute yet in, but I'll make sure it's in there. So that's it in a nutshell. I don't want to take up too much of your time since Chrome is not working for me. But I want to say thank you. I'll send you the link to the recording I did this morning. It was much better than this one.
Lucy, I'm sorry to interrupt, but would it be
Yeah.
possible, since we got to meet everybody else, if Chuck could just say like
Yeah,
three
yeah, absolutely.
sentences?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just before I turn over to Chuck, thank you everyone. I really appreciate you doing this. We want to do this again in August. So think of this as kind of the inaugural test to see if there's interest and a good experience for everyone. And hopefully we'll do it again right before people are getting ramped up for the midterms. So Chuck, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Chuck Woolery. I'm one of those Luddites that Lucy gets frustrated by, the old people in the library. So I'm doing all this. And,
No, you're not quite there. You're not
well, I've
quite
used a
there.
lot of technology, but I just use it. I don't understand a lot of the other stuff. Anyway, I'm a troublemaker, a former issues director for the Global Health Council and the United Nations Association Council of Organ. Been working on global issues for 45 years, and for me, democracy is failing, and I've been analyzing it from a biological science perspective and trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And it doesn't have justice, and it doesn't protect human rights. And so, to the degree that it doesn't do that, I'm upset. And anyway, so that'll be my presentation on the weaknesses of democracy, and I'll stop there.
And Chuck's been on our conference committee too. So we've been meeting every week for, I don't know, 6 months maybe, to kind of plan and plot all of this out. And this group and any of you are always welcome to join too if we keep this going. It's been kind of a nice weekly touch point to see, what's going on in our different necks of the woods, and what has stood out to us, what's bothered us, what has given us hope. And I'm trying to think who else is part of it. Anne Flynn is part of it. Wes Fryer is part of it. Howard Blumenthal, who is another keynoter, is part of it. And it's, I'd really like to grow it and just have a weekly, if you're around, kind of drop in. If you're not around, it's not a big deal. But I think coalition building is really important. I think learning from each other and staying connected in these kinds of spaces is really, really, really essential. Um, and
Lucy,
it's,
thank you. Thank you for
yeah.
managing that because it really is a valuable resource. Getting to vent and getting to new ideas and it really is extraordinary. What
Yeah.
you set
So
up.
like, yeah, how can we grow
Yeah,
that? I'm excited about that.
yeah.
And I'm grateful for everyone who's volunteering to do this. This is not the Charter for Compassion is paying for the platform. This is not, we're charging a little bit for the recordings, but this is not a money-making venture in any ways because we just want people to participate. And getting the word out is really hard. So that's the last thing I'll say to you guys is if you can use some of our resources, there's graphics, there's a link to Canva graphics that you can customize in the toolkit. If you can get the word out to your networks, that would be really great. Or even like retweet us and that sort of thing. I have a former student that I mentored at the college I attended, helping with some of the social media stuff too. I'm excited about that. So there'll be more stuff coming from him in the next couple of days too. Um, and we also have a WhatsApp group, which I haven't done much with, but I will activate it more this weekend. And we can share stuff too, and last minute questions and last minute support and that sort of thing. We will have people checking on your rooms. So to make sure that you're good to go and that you're okay. Um, and you can go in anytime and practice. And it will be recording when you're practicing, by the way. So just be aware of that. I had some people talk about their college marijuana habits during during when they were practicing one year, and they didn't realize they were being recorded, and they were mortified, and they were like, "Please delete that." It wasn't published or anything. It was just in the back end. But I did delete it, and it's not. I try to now in trainings make it abundantly clear that it's recorded. It's helpful if, speaking of the recording, is if you turn off your audio and video before you're going to start presenting, because then it stops the recording of when you're setting up, and then turn it on when you're about to start. And then it has a nice clean recording that we publish to a website that presenters and paid ticket holders will get access to. I will also send you a copy of your recording um, uh, about a week after, and you can download it and use it however you want to. And there's a back end AI tool now in RingCentral Events that makes little social media clips, and I'll try to download those too and include those so that you don't have to do any editing and you can just use these little clips from your presentation. There's some really nice tools in RingCentral Events now that keep evolving. And I hope that you all will come to some of these sessions. Every single one is great. Like I'm really, really pleased with the variety. And there are a lot of people from other countries too. We have somebody from South Africa presenting, somebody from Croatia, a lot of UK people. A lot of UK people have signed up to attend. I'm trying to think what else, because this is not, I think we can learn from other people. We are not the first group to the country to experience this stress.
Mhm.
So hopefully it'll be a really interesting experience and that you'll want to participate in this again. Okay.
And so, Lucy, it's okay to share this like with indivisible groups?
Oh, please do.
Okay.
Please do.
Okay.
There's a flyer in the Notion site that you can share with people, or any of the graphics. There's an outreach toolkit that has sample text and that sort of thing. Please, please, please do. We would love to do that. I did post it on the Mobilize site, which is affiliated with Indivisible. It's a
Yeah.
platform. So, and a couple other places like that, I posted it, but I'm not sure if we're getting a lot of traction from those yet.
Okay.
And we're also, I find Substack to be like the place to be for a lot of people who are fighting back.
Mhm.
And like there's a former state rep here in Illinois that's doing a lot of stuff, and I shared it with her, and she's sharing it out with other people. So, that organic word of mouth, personal invitation kind of stuff um, seems to work with people. I think I feel like people are looking for this kind of thing. but it's really hard to get the word out still. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's lack of money because I'm not advertising really. Uh, I don't know if it's people are worn out by technology, or people are just not connected enough. I don't have a good sense of it, but you see how many people come to these rallies and that sort of thing. And so I know people want to do something. And this is not new. The other organizations that have trailblazed, right? But doing the online stuff is a little bit different than face to face. Face to face, I think people are preferring, and I get it, but I think there's a space for this too.
Have you put it out on Blue Sky?
Yep, yep. And I have tons of not of resistance type people following me on Blue Sky too, but I don't see a lot of traction coming from that
Okay.
either. And I think Wes Fryer, he's big in Mastodon, which is, another alternative social media thing, and he's done stuff. I think the way to go really is TikTok. And I really want to delete my TikTok account. I am not a video person. I think it's an age thing. I'm turning 60 this year. I'm not turning 16. And I think I think youth really gravitate towards that. So if we, hopefully the kid he's not a kid, the student that's helping me right now, maybe he'll do some videos and put them on TikTok for us. Because I think that's where people are looking at things, or Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels, I think are also really helpful. And I
Yeah.
just hate recording myself and like talking, like ironically. I don't feel like I'm a natural like some other folks are.
Well, if
So
somebody puts together a Facebook reel, if you
yeah,
can send me a link, I can
yeah.
spread it around the Indivisible
Okay.
group.
Okay. We'll come up with a bunch of assets and we'll try to figure it out.
Okay.
We're using um I showed the student yesterday how to use Google Vids, which is an AI generated thing that does some really nice videos that can, pretty easily. So hopefully he's putting together something that will be nice in that. So the other app that I really like that I've been trying to play with is uh Apple has an app called Clips, and it's made for doing kind of Instagram-y kinds of things. But I just like I start recording, then I look at it and I'm like, no, that's not it. And I
Yeah, I
delete it.
hate doing it.
Yeah. So that's there. The Charter for Compassion has been putting out a lot of information about this. The executive director, Marilyn Turkovich, has been writing a democracy series um, of posts and on Substack, and she's gotten a lot of good response to that. If any of you ever want to contribute, we do have a Thrive Substack. If you ever want to write something or talk about what you're doing, I can add you as a guest poster. Happy to do that. But I think I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this, and if we can get, more information out there for people so that they can make informed decisions.
Yeah. Well, I'd be interested in that weekly group too, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yay. That's
Yeah.
exciting. I think
Yeah.
you'd enjoy it. And if you can come, you can come. If you can't, you can't. It's not a big deal. It's like my philosophy is do what you can when you can. And and I want people to feel comfortable and supported and part of something. And I'm learning a lot from the people in the group and figuring out where are my entry points, where do I want to get involved, what makes sense for me, how do I navigate it. So I think that the personal recommendations that come through that group are really helpful in general.
Great.
Okay. I will send a follow-up to this today, probably with a better recording. And I'll be around to, over the weekend, probably on Sunday in particular. If you want to ping me, I can help you get into your room if you have difficulty.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to try to jump into it now. Indivisible has a national call at noon my time.
Okay.
And so I'm going to try jumping on that, but that gives me almost an hour to play around right now.
Yeah.
So,
It's not bad.
mhm.
And if there are any issues, like if you don't see those tools, that means I didn't add you to your room as a moderator, which
Okay.
sometimes happens because I do all this manually. So, let me know and I can look at it and probably fix it in 2 seconds.
Okay.
But I'm totally excited. love the people that are presenting, the variety. It's really grassroots, and hopefully we'll make those roots grow. So,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Thanks everyone for coming, and I'll talk to you all soon. Okay.
Thank you. Take care,
All right.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.